Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Melissa and I am a 10th and 12th grade history teacher in Michigan, and today's video is going to be all about how I use Google Classroom. I am by no means a technology expert, and there is so much in Google Classroom that I have yet to explore. But as somebody who's not technologically savvy, I've still figured out a variety of different parts of Google Classroom that have been significant in helping to communicate between myself and my students. So I figured I would share with you some of the things that I do on Google Classroom. The main reason that I use Google Classroom is to communicate. I can't be around the kids all the time. Since I teach high school, we are separated into different blocks, and so I only see the kids for about 90 minutes a day, and then I maybe see them 2 to 3 days a week. So it's really important that I'm able to communicate things with them, and Google Classroom helps me do that. I use Google Classroom to send out my agenda for the day. I tell the kids what we're doing. I link all the different activities and all the readings that they might need. And so if they're absent, they're able to go on Google Classroom and they're able to find all of that. They're also able to find things that maybe they've misplaced or maybe things that they forgot that they had to do. Google Classroom is there for them 24/7 to go back and check in and to review what we did for the day, to find any missing materials, or just to prepare for class. So I know that there's a lot of parts of Google Classroom that I have yet to explore. But like I said, as somebody who's not great at technology, I have still found some easy ways in Google Classroom to make teaching so much easier. So let's go ahead and get right into it. This is the new Google Classroom page that I made for my 10th grade American History class for this fall. I just labeled it MYP American Studies because that's what we call the course at our school. And there is absolutely nothing on this page yet, so I have the opportunity to make it my own. The streaming tab basically allows you, like it says here, to communicate with your class, create and schedule announcements, respond to student posts. This is the tab that I use most often. There is also the classwork tab where you can assign different activities for your class to do. You can also post different resources here. The people tab is for when you actually add students. You can see them here. You can invite their guardians. And then there's a new grades tab that I actually haven't really played with yet, but I intend to do that a little bit more as we move towards the school year. One of the things I particularly like about the stream, and one of the things that I use the stream for, is to communicate a daily agenda with my students. So this gives you the opportunity to share any information with your class. So I normally type something like today's agenda, and I'll type the date. And then I go through and I type what activities we are going to do for the day. What I also like about it is that you can link different things here. So if you use like Microsoft Word, or if you're using a PDF document or something like that that you want to upload right from your computer, there's a link button. I always use this icon for Google Drive because then I can log into my Google Drive and I can insert my syllabus or anything like a reading. I can go through my folders, I can upload anything here, I can upload my schedule that I talked about from my last video, anything that's in my Google Drive that I have access to, I can also give the students access to. You can link a YouTube video or you can link a website. So in the past, I have had the students do different interactive map activities online, and I can post the link right here. The cool thing about this, and what I like the most about it, is that once I send this out, I have significantly less students who are asking me what we're doing for the day, and then I also have significantly less students who come back from being absent and have no clue what went on. They're easily able to access Google Classroom. In fact, this will email them, and this information will go directly in their inbox, and then they know exactly what we did that day, and they have access to any documents that I need them to have access to electronically, and they can do things from home if they decide that they're feeling better, or if they're out of school because they had some sort of club activity or field trip or something like that. At least when they get home that night, they can do a little bit of the activities that they missed, and they don't have to make sure that they find me after school to get a physical piece of paper when it's all online. A lot of my colleagues think that setting out an agenda every day is a little bit tedious, and I agree. However, given the fact that I do all of my lesson planning on the grid that was in my last video, I oftentimes just copy and paste from there and then link everything. It's really quick because oftentimes the stuff that I was linking will come up in the recent tab here. And so it's just a couple of clicks and it really doesn't take me a long time. Additionally, what I love the most is that you can actually schedule a post for any time you want. So I could schedule this post for, our first day of school, August 15th, I could schedule it to go out at 8 o'clock a.m. So if I'm a really proactive planner, which I tend to be, I can go ahead and have that scheduled already. So without actually going through and showing you too much of like the sensitive info on my real Google Classroom pages from last year, because I don't want to give out any of the kids' names or anything like that, I can show you like how I link some of the documents that we use. I link some of the electronic textbook chapters that we have. And it's just a place where the kids can go back and they can always find information that they need. So I'll give them any updates, like this one says, today I won't be here. Here's what you're going to be doing, which is really nice because then they don't have to worry about, a sub not being clear on directions. They have my clear directions on here. And then they just always have access. They can turn things in online. I've got some assignments. I've got some links. And so they just have access to all the things that I need them to have access to all the time. Any type of study guide, any type of handout that I made for them, any type of research that they might need, a reading that I found interesting, and things like that. Just general updates, which helps me to communicate with them, which helps them to communicate with me. Sometimes they'll actually go on here and they'll comment and they'll put a study guide on here that they want to share with their classmates. Pretty much like I'm just constantly like reposting the same things because the kids will say, oh, I didn't see this or I didn't see that. And you always want to keep the things that they need the most recent at the top. So sometimes I'll go through and I'll just relink the same things. At the beginning of a unit, I'll make a Google Classroom post with just everything that they need. And then as we move through each specific day, I'll relink just the stuff that we're using that day. Something else that you can do is you can move different items to the top so that they always see them. I don't know. I really like things chronologically, so I just tend to like repost. But you always have the option to move things to the top. This class page in particular doesn't have much by way of the classwork stream. I could have just kind of made my life easier by actually adding things to these different tabs. This one actually has like some information when we did our home front project for World War II, but you can separate it into different topics and also have things there. There's also a Google Calendar through here. This actually links to the Google Calendar where you have to insert new entries and things like that. That tended to be a little bit more difficult for me in terms of scheduling. I just liked the Google Docs version that I have because I could easily go through and just update things quickly. I didn't have to update an entry or make a new entry or something like that. But there's this Google Calendar tab where you can add things. There's also a class drive folder where you can see all of the things that they've turned in. If I click on this, you would see all the names of my students and their assignments that they've turned in, so I don't want to show this to you. But it also has a place for all of their classwork that they've turned into as well. So I've just found Google Classroom to be really helpful in terms of me communicating with my students. And I think that it's a very user-friendly type of online platform for teachers who aren't really comfortable or don't really know a whole lot about technology. And that's how I use Google Classroom. Nothing fancy, nothing that takes a whole lot of effort to learn, nothing that is too difficult to learn, but just some ways that make communication with your students a lot easier and it also helps to keep me organized. Like I said, as somebody who is not technologically savvy, it gives me a platform to communicate with my kids, and it gives me an opportunity to make my life easier by giving them all the materials that they need. They have access to everything, and they can be resourceful when they're absent or when they're missing something, which decreases the amount of time that I am playing catch up with kids and decreases the amount of time that I am trying to kind of do the work for them when they have the resources that they need to be able to be successful. If you like the video, make sure you hit the like button below. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!